Okay guys, settle down. Mag-start na ulit tayo. We'll resume the program. So, ito na yung second half. Ang gagawin natin ngayon is magla-lightning talks naman. So, we'll have a few lightning talks and then kung mag-stay pa kayo, may board games tayo mamaya. Ayun, okay. So up next is Glenn. Yes. Alright. Yes.
Meron na. So, hello, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome, but I have to ask an important question. So we all have an ending well of happiness inside of us, but unfortunately this well has run out. And who wants more beer? Woo! Woo! Yes, it's coming. Okay, so I'm Glenn. I'm from Shield, and I'm glad you all have come to this meetup. And tonight, I'm going to talk about very quickly about the Ruby notebook based on Jupyter. So I'm Glenn. Just a quick one. I'm from Shield. That's Shield. Nope. How about this one? Yep, that's all of us. Some of us. I'm a member of the protest race. If you all if you know of that, you can add me, Glenn J. Gonzalez at Gmail. We can do co-op and skirmish. I'm into Python and Scala. Not this animated snake Python, but the language Python. And Scala is the functional language. And I'm also into boxing. This is me. This is me. And this is my friend over there while we were sparring. I'm also into algorithms and machine learning. So tonight I'm going to talk about the Ruby notebook. So what is the Ruby notebook? What is Jupyter notebook? So it's a web-based interface. You access it via a browser, so it's very universal. Using the Jupyter notebook, you can have what's called live code. I'll show you in a bit. You can annotate it by using Markdown, and you can save the notebooks if you want to share and collaborate using code. And it also has multiple language support, so it's not just... So Jupyter came from Python, from IPython, and they separated the kernel for the language, and then they wrote other kernels. So one of the kernels is Ruby, others are Haskell and C# and all that. So what can I do with the Jupyter notebook? So basically, you can, if you're doing something, you can test and rerun it and modify it in the browser. You see it in front of you. It's like a text editor that's a console. So you can fix errors quickly, and you can do, as I said, it's like a shell, but it's also like a script. So if you've done something like this, so you created something, but you made a mistake. So you want to scroll up the history. So you do it statement by statement, and then you have to execute each line. So we've all done that in the console. But with Ruby Notebook, you have a visual, live running code. You can use it if you want to learn new languages, or if you want to teach new concepts, or like here in this scenario. You can also extend it with widgets. You can create dashboards, and you can use visualization gems, which I will show you in a bit. And of course, you can also use it for meetups like this one. So let's see it live. So this is the okay. So this is the sample notebook. So you can run the code here. So it outputs. Basically, you can run in command. So other examples, you can decorate an error in the browser, and then you can also call built-in libraries like math. You can also display inline images. So you can decorate the notebook such that it's very visual and it's very intuitive. So if you load that, so well, this is the welcome packet that we give to our new employees. So you have all of those goodies. And here is some other files. So as you can see, if you make an error, if you make a mistake, it's right there. You know what's wrong. You know what's happening. So it's live as it gets. You can use styles. So it's bold, green font. You can also, if you're into data analysis and all that, you can also display equations. So here you have the gradient and the partials and the integrals. So you can do that. Also tables. You can also embed web pages. And if you have specific gems, you can also load them. So here I've loaded the pry gem, which you can use to inspect classes. So this will tell us what you can do with an array. So it has these methods, copy data, and size, and all that. You can also, as I said, if you loaded a visualization gem, you can create, for example, graphs or complex visualizations of equations. It's going to take a while. You can also, as I said, it's code, so you can run anything. So division and you can run blocks. You can also visualize matrices. Okay. Oh, it's not finished yet. So I think that's it. An interesting thing that you can do is, for example, you can have widgets. So for example, you can have an input. So you can enter whatever field. So it's like interactive. It's also interactive. You can have forms there. Okay. And all the other stuff. So this is, so text and HTML, text areas, drop downs. This is a big bunch you can do. So you have all those fields and text areas and radio buttons. And you can use these to get data and then process them. And then you can use them, so you can save it. And then if you want, for example, if you're testing something or if you're inspecting logs or whatever, you can save it and show it that this is the sequence of events. So that's another thing that you can use. So yeah, that's Ruby Notebook for all of us. So you can install via these instructions, and you can go to the Jupyter GitHub page for more info. That's it. Questions? Woo! Yes. Where do you use it? Well, right now we have so we have what's called Shield Foundry University. So right now we're using it for things like studying algorithms. What's this? Oh, no, not this one. So you have a problem, this and this and this, and these are the requirements. So as I said, it's a good tool for education and learning and all that stuff because it's very visual. And you see the code right there. So you have the implementation, and you can run the data.
So you share it by like uploading it to GitHub?
Yeah, so good question. I have this. So I have it running locally, but I also have it. We also have it running on our server. It's called the Jupyter Hub. You can log in and create your own notebooks in your own space, and you can export that and you can share it with others. And yeah, so that's it. Thank you.
Alright, thank you, Glenn. Next up, we have Mark. Magsaset up pa siya.
Ito sa sarili mo. Ito sa pants or sa baba. Tapos ito sa shirt. Sa collar.
Or kahit hindi mo na i-cup yung isa, lagay nyo ng table.
Sige. Mas ganda kung mas malapit sa bili mo.
Kailangan, hindi ako sigurado yung experimental. Sige, on nyo. Try nyo yung on. Try mo. Sige. Kasi may feedback siya, no? Sige, try mo magsalita.
Hi. Hello. Test.
Ayun,
Test. This is mic. This test.
HDMI ba?
Wala ka HMI.
Thunderbolt. Sorry, Thunderbolt.
Meron. Ayan, pera.
Meron pahinga ng tubig. No.
Tubig.
Sorry.
Sige lang.
Thunderbolt to HDMI.
Basta kailangan nila ng Naka-MacBook Air kasi siya.
Oh. Ang hirap gabi ka.
Lagay mo na sa table. Hindi, yung ano.
Ay, yung left na.
Yung button, whatever.
Alright. Thank you. Bored ba yung iba sa live? All right.
Alright guys, let's welcome Mark. Plus.
Alright, very quick talk. I haven't really thought about what to talk about until maybe a few hours earlier. So I'll start with something maybe half of us always visit, This is fackerslack.com or maybe fackers.io for some. Fackers.com or whatever. We don't even have a logo for it yet, but you should join. And this is where I will start my talk actually. So sometime this week, someone posted about his problems with the Rails, a Rails dependency called Spring, and sometimes it would be the cause of bugs, like some random bugs, maybe 10% of the time. And I'm sure if you've been a Rails developer sometime, you've experienced this as well. So this is what his screenshot looked like. So he just grabbed for all the Spring processes, and it's quite a lot. Actually, I also encountered this as well, especially when I create experiment Rails apps, like very small Rails apps that just prove a point. Like for example, if I'm debugging or whatever. So for whatever reason, you have just a lot of Spring processes that are probably not used. Like for example, in that screenshot, there's one that started 535 hours ago. So it's probably not used anymore. So just for those who are wondering, that guy is in in the RubyConf page. He's the one, or at least one of the people who created the website. That's his contribution to that. So I'm gonna talk about scripts that I use sometimes in my personal and my work laptop. So that's what I said. I have a kill. That's what I replied to him. I even have a kill Spring script that just kills all of the Spring process. It's nothing fancy actually. So let's just start with a few building blocks. Most of the scripts I'll be sharing use these shell commands. PS for process status. Think of this as your command line version for the activity monitor, and bash pipes. Whatever is in the left side is taken, like the standard out goes into the standard input. Grep and awk, think of this as your Ruby filters. Basically, instead of filtering elements of an array, you're just filtering the lines of output. And sargs, which just means execute whatever the command that comes next, and whatever the standard output is, you just append them in the end as arguments. So the way I would remember it, I tell myself to remember what this does is just execute whatever command you have and push in the arguments at the last. So first, let's just go with kill Spring. So just like the command earlier, you just grep for Spring processes. But say in this example, you have 3. There's one at the end that's not really a Spring process. It's just the process for the grep command. So let's just grep it out of the way. So it'll filter it out, and then after that, we just what's this awk? It's just filtering the second column of each line. So in this case, you have 15572 and 15339. These are process IDs of the Spring processes that we want to kill. So you just filter them out, and then after that, you just kill them with sargs kill. So basically, if I had to just use the kill command, I would say kill 15572 15339. So that's it. That's how you just kill the Spring. And then you can put this as an alias, but that is not my idea. Actually, it came from the same person. So which brings me to my point: don't hoard information. It doesn't mean that I'm talking in front of you right now. It doesn't mean that I'm the authoritative source of whatever I'm sharing right now. Sharing is just caring, and don't be afraid to share whatever you discover, because chances are it's not the best version of it anyway. So There, just an aside. Okay, another thing that's related to Spring actually. This is still an open Rails issue. For about a year now, it says there August 14, 2016, and it's already September 2017. So basically, Listen Gem is a gem that's our dependency of Spring, and it takes this laptop and our core contributor asked if how you can recreate that, and he just said Rails new Rails new this breaks my laptop. So if you've ever wondered that, if you've ever blamed your Mac OS for just randomly acting up, chances are you're a Rails developer and you're encountering this issue. And it took me quite some time to figure out that this was caused by Rails. I posted some 27 days ago temporary fix, and that's what I'm gonna share today. So nice Rails. It's just how I named it, but you could name it anything. So before I introduce the script, let's just backtrack a bit and talk about renice and its corresponding its related command called nice. So basically, if you want to alter the prioritization of each process, you just set a number from -20 to 20. -20 being the most CPU intensive and 20 being the least CPU intensive. So if you don't put it, like say if you say run, I don't know, Rails S or whatever, it will just default to 10 or 0 in some systems. But I think in Mac OS it defaults to 10. So relatively low priority. But so if you have Rails that runs on the priority 10 and it acts up, maybe you want to lower the priority to, I don't know, 15 or 20, whatever. So and renice is basically used when the program is already running. So you make a process nicer or more nice. In Mac OS, you cannot make a process less nice. So thank you for pointing that out. Okay, so let me just explain. Okay, maybe if you say nice Rails S, like nice Rails S, that's not the exact command, but basically that's it. If you put nice, say -20 Rails S, it would consume more. It would allocate more resources, CPU resources to the Rails command or whatever you're using. If you don't put anything, it will just default to 10. That's what happens in learning. Actually, if you use PS, one of those columns refer to how nice the process is. Okay, so and renice is basically the same thing, except you use it when the process is already running. Say you already have a Rails server running, and you want to make it nicer. Say it's eating up your CPU or whatever. You just renice. You make it nicer to you. You allocate less CPU to it. So.
But to a running process.
Yes. Actually, I can demonstrate that, but this is lightning talk, so. So basically, the same thing. I won't explain it further. It's similar to kill Spring. You just use PS and then grep to the particular process that you want to make very nice. In this case, actually, so it's RBFS event gem. It's the gem that's basically the culprit of all your Spring woes, and it's not even the gem author's fault. It's actually a Mac OS bug. So this is just a wrapper gem. So he can't really do anything about it. Like, he can't fix it. So that's basically the gist of the listen gem issue. So actually, you could even look at the issue, and you could see everybody chipping into the drama. So, and then the last, or any questions to this one? Any questions? Any?
You know why FS event is causing the scraping?
I forgot, but it's already in that issue. Like I think the Spring author chipped in, and the RBFS event author chipped into the thread, and so it's all explained in that issue. I'm just using the nice to just sidestep the problem. It's still an open issue, by the way, so this is still relevant. So the last one would be Robocop on your Git pre-commit hooks. So let me just explain what is Robocop. Robocop is basically your Ruby style guide linter. So if it detects any, for example, extra white space, or you didn't use, say, double quotes, if that is your standard for string, it will complain to you basically. and we also have this in our CI. And what happens is, what I've observed is that sometimes when I push something to our to a branch and make a pull request, all the tests pass, but it fails on the Robocop side. It's because I forgot to execute Robocop. So just to get rid of that problem for me, I just put something in this file, .git. So if in any project that is where you're using Git, there is a file called .git/hook/precommit. That sample, actually, it doesn't have a precommit. You could look at that sample file so that you could follow. But basically, you could put any shell command there that exits with either a 0 or 1. And basically, if it exits with 1, and then it would stop you from committing anything, actually. So you could also put it in other hooks, like pre-push before you're pushing to a repository. But basically the same thing. Let's just go with one particular line in there, which is git status porcelain. What does it do? It basically, if you have, say for example, I have this project I have Rails cloned in my laptop, and I just added a new file and modified the README. And basically, if you do git status porcelain, it will just say the same thing, but now it's more amenable to grepping. So you want to grep anything that has A, which is added, or anything that has M, which is modified. So going back, so basically I'm grabbing all those added and modified files and running them against Robocop, so that I will only run them, or I will only run Robocop against the files that I've changed. So you don't have a problem of running Robocop against everything. Like for example, in Pete's case, he has a very big legacy code base. He wants to run Robocop on just a part of on just the files that he recently changed and added. So this is what he could do. Just an aside, you could also do this without the script in Robocop. There's already a way to do this, but just in case you want to execute Robocop immediately without too much hassle, that's how you would do it. All right, so most of these commands are just the building blocks are just PS, bash pipes, grep. Actually, it's even possible to not use grep. There is a blog post called "You Don't Need Grep," something like that. Like, you don't need grep. You could just use awk. There's a lot of things that you could improve on this. Sargs, basically execute whatever command, the arguments at the end. Rails scripts, kill Spring to kill all Spring processes. Renice Rails to make Rails nicer to you, and the Robocop pre-commit hook. Any questions? Thank you.
questions daw.
Hindi ko siya na-update ako pero recommend.
Yes, sure. I actually anticipated this, so I have a gist. If you want, I have it here in my laptop. So
Slack na lang.
Slack na lang. Actually, nasa
Uy, kakopy yung kit, no?
nasa
Okay,
copy drive.
okay.
Alright, any questions?
Ana, ayun. Alright, guys. That's it. I guess that wraps up our meetup for tonight. Pwede pa kayo magstay. May board games tayo. Gusto nyo magstay. And beer. Ayun. And once again, thank you sa Shield Foundry. Laging magandang meetups talaga ako sa Shield Foundry, man. Thank you.
Also, we're approaching 200 videos, so
Oo nga, malapit na tayo mag 200 videos.
we just give Bri
Oo nga. Live stream pa.
live stream.
Yes.
Yeah, we're about to approach 200 videos, so thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Bri. Okay. Okay na, guys. Tignan mo yung gusto mo eh. Pero pwede pa mag-stay. Lalaro pa.